That's right, you may have noticed from my decorations, my decor, and my ensemble that I am totally ready for Halloween. I have been doing Ominous October since I started my channel. It's like such a beloved month for me. I love Halloween, I love scary ass shit, and this is just everything that I'm about. I planned my whole year around this month. I start planning for it as soon as October is over. So yeah, that's how crazy I am for Halloween, if I hadn't already convinced you. Before I go any further, you guys may or may not have noticed that I have some new glasses right here. I call them my Clark Kent specs and I just love them so much. I was a little hesitant at first to get new frames because I always use the same frames that I've been wearing for years that you guys usually see me in. But a company called Firmoo recently contacted me and offered to send me a free pair of specs, and I couldn't say no to that. Before I go any further, this video is not sponsored at all. All Firmoo asked me to do was show you guys my new glasses and let you guys know about them. So if you guys wear glasses like me, which I think a lot of you do, you know, reading glasses kind of goes hand in hand, I just wanted to let you guys know, and I will leave their information down below if you are interested. Alright, so I'm going to stop rambling about other things and get into the books that I'm super excited to show you guys. I am just so pumped to start this Halloween season off with these books, so yeah, let's get into it. The first book that I'm going to be picking up for Ominous October is The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty. This is a classic, and something I didn't mention is that for this particular Ominous October, I'm going to be reading books in categories. So within this is obviously the horror genre, but the subgenre within it is demons, because we all know The Exorcist is about demonic possession. I grew up seeing bits and pieces of the movie because my mom would be watching it and she would always be like, go away, I don't want you to see this, I don't want you to see this, but I saw it anyway. It is one of the most scariest films that I have ever seen, and if it is that scary in like film version, I can only imagine how scary it's going to be in book version, and I'm just really looking forward to being creeped the F out. So looking forward to it, in fact, that this is actually going to be the first book that I pick up in October. Then I'm going to watch the movie and do a book to movie review, so if you guys are interested in that, let me know, because that'll encourage me to get it up faster. The next book that I'm planning to pick up in October is 20th Century Ghost by Joe Hill. I really enjoy Joe Hill. Last year I read Horns, which I believe is his debut novel. I'm not sure what order this is in his published works. I have many of his other books, but I decided to pick this one up with my friend Missy, and I'm also reading The Exorcist. I'm reading all of these books with Missy, except one actually, because she is my weird sister, a fellow horror lover, and just this is our thing, this is our month. Anyway, back to this book. For those of you who don't know, Joe Hill is actually Stephen King's son, which, I mean, he's got the genes, people. The scary writing genes, for show. I don't know a whole lot about this book, but I do know that it's a collection of short stories, and they all have to do with like ghost stories. So within the subgenre, this is going to cover ghosts, obviously. The next book I'm going to be picking up in October is Alice by Christina Henry. I'm so excited about this book because to me it sounds like the book version of American McGee's Alice, which if you guys don't know is this horror video game that came out for PC in like 2000. And it's so creepy. It's basically tells the story of Alice revisiting Wonderland, but everything has gone like haywire, everything is crazy, everyone's evil, everything's like royally fudged up. And from the synopsis of this seems like the book version of that video game, and I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited. You guys know how much I love Alice in Wonderland, and I love retellings of Alice in Wonderland and new spins on it. And this just seems like it's gonna be perfect. Within the subgenre of horror, this is going to be under killer. It sounds like there's gonna be like lots of killing and murders in it, so yeah, it's killer. The next book that I'm going to be picking up for Ominous October is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Last year I read Shirley Jackson for Ominous October. I read We Have Always Lived in the Castle, and I fell in love with that book. It actually made the #1 spot on my top 10 of 2015. I adore Shirley Jackson. There is a reason why she is referred to as a master of horror. She is incredible. Her writing is like nothing I've ever read. I actually read a couple of her short stories back in March, and I couldn't wait to keep reading Shirley Jackson. So I felt like this needed to be the next one that I read. It's about a haunted house, haunted mansion. I don't really know much more than that, but I know that it's a classic and I know that it's like told in like a very gothic atmosphere. So the subgenre that I have classified this book as is gothic horror. I really can't wait to read this, and I love this edition so much. So beautiful. And I know that the content inside is going to be just as horrifyingly beautiful, and I am ready. The next book that I'm going to be picking up in October is Bird Box by Josh Malerman. I recently hauled this book and I'm so glad to be getting to it. I haven't heard a lot about it, but since I mentioned it in my last video, I have gotten some comments where people have said it is terrifying, and I know that this is one of Lala over at Books and Lala's favorite books of 2016 so far, so it's just that's enough for me to know it's gonna be banging. So basically the plot of this story is that there is this creature or entity or just like something that when a person comes in contact with it, they turn into a violent murderer. The idea of coming in contact with something that can turn you into a ruthless killer is terrifying to me, and also really entertaining, not gonna lie. And this covers the subgenre of monster because I think that the villain in this is a monster. At least it turns other people into monsters, so that's good enough for me. And the final book that I'm planning to pick up during Ominous October is Let Me In by John Ajvide Lindqvist. So this is originally titled Let the Right One In. It was translated from Swedish. I've had it for years and I did read it years ago, but I didn't read all of it in its entirety, and I want to do that now because I have seen the American movie adaptation of this book. I really want to see the Swedish adaptation as well because I've heard that it's just as good as the American edition, if not better. But yeah, I would love to read this book all the way through, watch the movies, and do like a book and movie review for you guys if you would be interested. Oh, and this covers the subgenre of vampire because it's about a vampire, if you didn't already know. Alright guys, so that's all for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. In the comments below, I would love to know if you guys have read any of these books, if you liked them, if you didn't like them, just, you know, what you thought about them. I'd also really love to know what your reading plans are for October. I know that not everyone is into horror, so even if you're not reading horror, I'd still love to hear about the books that you're reading. But if you are into horror, I especially want to know what you're reading because I want to add more books onto my TBR and basically start planning for my next year's Ominous October because I know I'm going to be doing that immediately anyway. I would also love to have recommendations of movies, like horror movies or like Halloween type movies. So if you guys have recommendations for that, I'd really love to hear them. Alright guys, so that's all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one.